Laura.
Funny. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to the Darien Beautification Commission meeting this morning, May 8th, 9:17 in Darien Town Hall, Renshaw Road, room 119. We have a quorum. We have Colleen Calvitis, Amanda Segura, Melissa Kelly, Tracy Whitehead, and myself, Sarah Schwartz. And I'd like to call this meeting to order. First thing is that the minutes, but I don't know if anybody reviewed what I sent out, but it sounds like I sent out the wrong ones. So why don't we skip that? We'll do that next month. We can just approve them next month. Let's jump into treasurer's report, and I just want to say, I've got, if you guys have the agenda, there's been so much happen. There has been so much going on this month.
Do you have that?
So thank you. So there are some items to add. So I'm going to keep trying to move along today to clip but I'd like to. There's so much to cover. So anyway, I just want to mention that. Maybe we'll hop around too on the agenda based on what makes sense. There, you have one? Great. Thanks. All right. Thank you, Tracy.
I love it how Melissa's total all computer. I'm like all paperwork.
I used to be that way, but then I would go home and the papers would go everywhere. They'd get like shoved in my car and get coffee spilled on them. So here we are.
Here we are.
I'm reading on my phone and doing this. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah.
Oh, so you want me?
Yes, please. You're up. I'm up.
All right. Well, you see our line account is up right now because we have received checks from DR Bank, from David Genovese, and actually those were the ones we received from prior. Those were the library and the who else? 2 checks I received.
Are you thinking about like neat coffee or
The what?
neat coffee, like that area? Glassware there?
The glassware, yeah.
Yeah, for Grove
Yeah,
Street. That's
Grove
what it was.
Street.
It's Grove Street,
Yes.
yes, those were the checks I received. Grove Street and the library.
Yeah.
I have additional checks that are going in. Just got in the bank, the check for a DR Bank, and that's $11.36 because they included the maintenance. And I got in David Genovese's check, which was $6.25, and that included maintenance as well. So that will be in addition to the $15.80 that's showing for the end of April. And one receipt that I just put through, and that was for the boxwoods for the planters in front, and that was $148. So right now, the report was through April 30th, but right now we have $17,493.13, and I'm about $493.13.
Okay.
I'm about to cut a check for the beds and borders for $4,230, plus the shipping, which is, I had said $300, but I found out yesterday it's $330. So we have a total balance then of right now $12,923.13. Okay. So.
Thank you.
So that's what we need to spend before 6:30.
Terrific. All right, let's then, I'd like to actually pause the treasurers, discuss the next part, the allocation. I want to get you guys up to speed on where we are and a bunch of other things. And I think it's really important we come back to this, like really important. So does anybody have like a hard stop right now? Like they have to leave by a certain time? No?
I'd like to leave within an hour time frame.
You'd like to leave at like 10:15?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so let's come back to it before 10:15. All right, so let's continue then with Instagram, website, email correspondence. I have nothing to report on email. I don't know that Alicia has anything on Instagram.
The website, I'd like to add something. I haven't been able to work on the website due to my own time constraints.
Mhm.
As I mentioned last time, it's like when I originally raised my hand, I thought it was gonna be some slight editing. The entire website needs to be recreated,
Mhm.
something I'm not really wanting to do
Mhm.
on my own.
Mhm.
Or if it's okay with everyone, if I do it in my slow months, because I just have no time and effort to do it during my daytime
Yeah.
right now. So I'm willing to take it on, but I can't do it for a couple of months if I do it by myself, or I could do it with a partner
Mhm.
in just a slower segment.
Okay, not a problem. I have a question for you though. What about instead of like a big revamp, we just get it up to date, just remove people who have resigned? You know, just.
Yeah, well, that's not a problem.
Okay, great.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
great. So that, I just like it, I agree, it'd be nice to have it revamped and look nice, but just to be updated would be.
Because that New Canaan one you sent is like amazing, and I
It's
went
really
through
fun,
it.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, that should be our goals,
Yeah.
100%. That's just gonna take a huge amount of work, especially because I can't log in and edit it myself.
Totally.
I have to sit with this
Totally
woman here and
understand
do
that.
it.
Totally understand that.
That's
All
the
right.
only way, you have to sit with her? Will she give like access, permission to like do it?
Because it's a town,
Because it's
it's
a
like,
commission.
it's a town
I get it.
granted permission. And I'm,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Is that Linda O'Leary?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, Park and Recs, and I don't want to launch and spend too much time on this right now, but Park and Recs has their own website, so I don't know the rules, but theoretically, if we wanted down the road, I'm asking,
We can't,
could we get our own?
because we're a commission. We're not a department of the town.
Okay, great.
So, and
So
that's
we-
also why Linda has to do the editing.
Right.
In the registrar's office, we can do our editing because we're a
Okay,
town office.
so it's helpful to know, so it's great, it's just, I think this is such a good learning process, like we're learning our constraints, right? So
Right.
let's not make things crazy, we'll just work with what we have, and we have to have it on the town. Don't think we need to copy, I mean, it'd be nice, but like,
Yeah, it would be, I mean, that website's amazing.
yeah. So anyway, I'd say like, let's just keep it up to date, and that's maybe the goal for now, and
Okay.
if we have a chance to beautify our website, great, but not stress ourselves out about that. Anything on reading and pruning? I think things are looking really
Who
nice.
was, wait, let's get back to,
there.
who was interested in joining the board? Is there somebody that came up?
Interesting.
Oh wait, I'm reading the old minutes, sorry. Okay, never mind.
She
No,
just sent out a brand new minutes just now,
yeah.
or
Meeting?
agenda.
Yeah.
Colleen and I have done, well, and Elizabeth too, and Juliet, we had cleaned that lower hill. There's
Yeah.
still some more work to get done on the Habitat Hill.
But it's coming in,
But
it's looking nice.
Colleen and I did like a major cleanup here in the circle. Got everything pruned back and weeded out. And I was able to get 5 of the new boxwoods in. And I transplanted, originally I thought I would transplant those violets that were in there down to the bottom of the Habitat Hill. But I actually kind of filled them in the circle where we had 2 dead ones. And so I'm just kind of utilizing them in the circle itself,
Great.
in the front there by the monuments. So, and then, yeah, so just been, and I talked with, well, we went up to talk to Ed Gentile, and he is willing to give us, Johnny and Armando, for a couple of hours one day during the week to really be able to prune back some of the junipers and stuff in the circle that really, you know, in front of town hall. And we're gonna get a hose reel.
Nice.
Okay.
So that old lady
That's
will
great.
stop yelling at me when she comes into town hall. How dirty it
Good.
looks.
She's still doing it? Okay.
Yeah, she hasn't died yet, so she'll still be doing it.
Okay.
So,
And he said he was gonna power wash the flagpoles out front, and we are gonna get those, Tracy and I, we discussed the garden over at Norotan Heights train station. I think I'm gonna meet with Sean from the Gardener Center on Monday. We need measurements of he needs measurements of the garden, and then we said, you know,
we
we
would
have
work
to.
with Ed on putting a plan together to replace the stuff that the town and
That was-
Eversource trashed on
Right,
us.
right.
Great.
But
And they'll pay for it.
visibility
Right,
is key,
that's right.
so,
Yes.
right, like that's.
That's awesome. Good.
And
That's
I
one of
put
my,
together some
that's
plans
one of
on
my
Shane.
additional
Yes. Yeah,
items.
thank
We
you.
can just.
Sorry,
Awesome.
I jumped
No, no,
ahead.
that's
I-
perfect. I'm
Oh,
so
gee.
glad to hear it.
So,
Great. Right, good work on that, that's awesome. I
We were
hope things
thinking
are
also
really
too,
nice.
as far as we're into weeding and pruning, so we were thinking too, we have stuff at the berm that, you know, with the DOT doing that whole project, the berm is just like a useless eyesore. And so we're just trying and, you know, weed whack it back and not really do a whole lot of maintenance up there this year. But we were gonna dig out some of our stuff and relocate it to other areas. So and there is a very pretty oak leaf hydrangea up there that we will, when we get a chance, we'll dig that out and we'll put it in the circle. We already put one in last summer. We put a oak leaf hydrangea in there. So we'll put another one in there. There's some red twig dogwood that we could perhaps use on the hill. So a couple of other things that we might relocate some of those, the daffodils that are just getting trashed and some, you know, rose bushes or whatever.
Okay.
So we'll just kind of
See what you can save.
see
Yeah.
what we can save before it gets totally overgrown in the weeds, in the vines.
That sounds good.
So
Okay, good, thank you.
I don't like to throw anything out if I can save it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Let's jump into hanging baskets.
Yeah.
they're coming in on the 17th,
Okay,
7 o'clock in the morning. I was just doing my application with Park and Rec to use Weed Beach.
okay,
I'm
great.
trying to use the overhang, you know, the breezeway,
Mhm.
if we can get the breezeway, since we're doing it on a Friday and not a Thursday, because yoga does their yoga in the breezeway on Thursdays.
Okay,
So if we can get that, I'll know later this week.
We've
If
had
we-
it before, we've been able to get, you know.
But they won't let us because yoga uses it.
It's okay though, if we could be in the parking lot.
But, so needless to say, it will still be at Weed Beach, it'll just be in the parking lot like we used last year, unless we can get that spot.
Yeah.
Of course, the advantage to not having that spot, we don't have to clean it up as much, is then the petunia petals just kind of dissipate into the parking lot.
True.
So,
And it's so early in the morning, to have shade, you don't have to really worry about shade.
yeah, no, it's absolutely early, so, but we'll shoot for 7 o'clock, because that's when you should be there. I was trying to push Ed off because we don't have as many people helping us with the assembly of the
Yeah.
baskets. I was trying to push him off to 8:30, but
okay.
he pushed back and said, my men will be there at 8 o'clock. Okay, so we'll
Okay.
just have to work faster, and we'll try and get those done, and
So
maybe
we
push.
still want to start at 7, because then
Yes.
we'll come at 8 to start to,
Was
So
there any
you have a-
availability with the high schoolers?
they're all in AP exams.
Okay, yeah, so my kids don't get on the bus and my last one gets on the bus at 9.
Yeah, and Alicia has a conflict too.
Yeah.
She's the same as me.
She can't
Even
come
has
till
a-
after 11,
she has
so.
another one.
Oh,
I'm
she's
not
got
gonna-
another one.
I can be there, I just can't lift anything.
That's, we'll lift it for you. My neighbor's
But I
coming to help
can,
us,
I can
Karen.
work away.
Juliet's busy.
And I'm
She
gonna
needs
bring,
help.
I'm hoping to bring my daughter, who's home from college,
Oh, good.
and you have your neighbor,
Yep, yeah.
right?
I can probably bring my mother, and I have a brother that's a little, neurologically handicapped, but is very good with garden stuff, so maybe I'll bring
Oh,
him.
perfect.
He's a little slow though, that's the only thing that,
Well, that
but he
makes
can
you
live,
so
he can
handy.
pick and move.
Yeah, he and I can be one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Teams.
So I
Right,
know,
we can be
I'll
a
just see
team.
who I can pull, you know?
So,
Yeah,
yeah, any help we could get would be great because it is kind of like that mad rush and all of a sudden, Public Works and Park and Rec comes, you know, Tilly gets like 32 baskets or something like that. And so those Tilly and the town ones have to get assembled. But the other people coming, the bank picks up their baskets and they do their own thing. Grove Street does their own thing. And
Yeah.
I believe we're gonna hang David's 2 baskets.
yeah, I understand.
So-
I'll just do that.
It's
since
okay,
we're
we just
doing
have to think,
events.
if it, normally it took us, what, an hour and a half? Maybe it'll be 2, you know?
So if we get some good able helpers, that would be awesome.
Mhm.
So,
Sounds
You
good.
just can't really do it fast, I mean, moving them, you just, it's as fast as you can't,
Yeah.
it's taking each one apart.
yeah.
So do y'all suspect it's gonna be over by 9:30?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I mean,
Right,
not
so then
everybody has.
I'm not gonna come then, because I won't even get there till then.
Okay.
So I'm just, I mean,
Can you get a babysitter that morning? No.
who would I ask to babysit? My only babysitters are high schoolers.
Oh, got it.
I mean, I don't have anyone
Yeah,
external
I
that I've
understand.
ever used.
Yeah.
My
So-
mom does live around here, but she's traveling. Let me look into it.
It's okay.
Maybe my
I'm just
husband will
thinking
work
how
from
many
home that
hands?
morning, I don't know.
Yeah.
I could, that's an opportunity. I will do my best to try.
Yeah, sure. All right, so we
That
have
would be great if you can. If you can't,
Yeah.
we'll make it work.
2, 4, 6, 7 people or so we'll make it work. We'll get it done. All right, thank you for that.
And I'll reach out to Elder today to get him on board to do a watering probably that Sunday.
Great.
Put him up on
Right.
Friday. I was thinking
Right.
too, the trial ones, I was thinking I'd like to put 2 of the trial ones, if they look really pretty, and I'm hoping that they do. I'd like to put the 2 trial ones on the lamp posts, so they stand out a little bit differently at the front of the building.
Good.
And then we can decide what to do with the other, because they're sending us, I believe, 4 trials. So, and my other thought too with hanging baskets, I think I ordered a couple of extra. I'll redo my count this week. And if I did, I was thinking there are hooks on Tokenique Road on those lampposts as well.
Oh.
And I was thinking we could just loop it
Oh, that
around.
would be
I think that'd be so
pretty.
pretty.
It would
That
go,
would be pretty.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
This
sure
is
those
so-
businesses would appreciate that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, you've got the newsstand there, and you've got the
Yeah.
Chinese restaurant, and you've got the eye place. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they would
A
all,
new sushi restaurant that's coming in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right
That's
next to the
exciting.
Summer
I didn't
Bakery.
know
It's
that.
like this
That's
little,
great.
yeah.
Oh,
Not next
I
to
mean-
Summer
So,
Bakery, closer to.
because it's kind of ugly on the other side, you've
Yeah.
got the train tracks right
It's
there.
really, yeah.
And if that's town property and they already have hooks, why don't we maybe consider buying them for them
We
in
did.
the future?
Yeah. I think we allocate, I think I over allocated, and then I said, perfect, we can use them now.
Okay,
So,
okay.
they won't go to
Okay.
waste.
Yeah, no, for
So.
sure. Okay, great.
So, and then are we disassembling like 2 baskets to do what we've usually done with the petunias then in the planters this year, or are we planting them?
Well, so Tracy and I have been in communication because I was not unable to plant in a timely fashion, these planters. So, I don't know, I am now able to plant, so, I can disassemble a basket, I can help you disassemble a basket, I don't care what we do.
Or do we want to do something different since we're doing trial baskets on the window? You know, I did put the boxwoods in, I have to just do the last 2. which
They're
are the
really
dry ones.
small, I envision them being like huge.
I thought they'd be bigger too, you know, they always look bigger until you get them in a big space.
I wonder if we should put 2 of them in each planter, because right now, they're gonna be so hard, that's gonna require the reason, my initial thought of having a boxwood in there was to take up a ginormous amount of space so that
And
our
they
annual.
They do grow pretty quick.
Yeah, okay.
I was thinking maybe, because they didn't have any of the holly, the taller holly.
Mhm.
But if I get 2 taller hollies, I can take them out of the 2 front ones before we plant.
Mhm.
And I could always use 2 little boxwoods someplace
Sure,
else, so
of
they don't
course.
get wasted. So, I'll look again, but they were all out of the holly of it.
Mm,
So, but I can maybe rent a Home Depot or something.
mm.
So,
They're selling
Uh,
those big clematis things now. Do we want to do that for the summer?
Clematis climbs, so we would need like
A trellis of
a
some
trellis behind it.
Yeah, don't they sell them with a trellis?
Well, they climb even further off those
Okay.
trellises,
Oh, I
so
see.
clematis is climb, I mean, the ones they are like this, clematis will go up like a 12-foot wall.
Okay.
Otherwise they go like this, and they
Okay.
look messy.
yeah.
They
can't have
really
them
need
look at this.
to
Okay.
weed themselves.
Makes sense.
Although it would be pretty, we could put clematis going up the brick face of the.
That would be gorgeous. I'm not sure
But
that they
maybe
would like
over by
that
the
going up the
pieweed.
brick though.
Maybe by the, pie weed, but
That's probably not a great option in those planters.
Yeah.
Something, but,
Do you two want to talk and figure out? I don't mind whether, what
Yeah, we'll
happens
figure
with the
it out.
baskets.
we've got, yeah, because we have some
Either
money.
we use the baskets or
Well, we
we
can
don't.
certainly use the baskets if we want, I mean, we'll know.
why don't we circle back after the baskets come, so that'll be in 2 weeks, and then we'll make our plan.
Make a decision.
Didn't
Sounds
we
Yeah.
get some at Tilly Pond though? I feel like last year
We did
when
Tilly
I
Pond too.
went,
Mhm.
Tilly Pond,
Tilly
we
Pond
Yeah.
divided some of the
We
baskets,
disassembled 2 of the baskets for Tilly, those are included in that Tilly count,
Okay, I
so.
thought that looked really pretty.
Yeah.
Over there, really
Yeah.
nice.
And I wanna go check out what, how the garden club's gardens have been, how they've grown this year, what they look like. So that's it, so.
Okay, I'll let you guys figure out the planters. Okay, moving on to Adopt a Garden. Last month, the way we left it is that we were going to initiate a campaign and try and find some money from sponsors or from businesses or donors or families or whomever, just basically do this big campaign. So I had a number of meetings, getting some more information and getting ideas, and I had all these questions, and I reached out, thankfully, to
Kate
Kate
and Jen.
and Jen. Well, I reached out to Lynn, and she put me in touch with Kate, our town administrator, and Jen Ferchernisky, our director of finance, and thankfully, I learned a lot, which is that the process we've been going about has been not quite the way it needs to be done. There's much more procedural pattern that needs to be done, and so cutting to the chase, we have hit a roadblock as far as timing. Jennifer gave me, it was very helpful, she gave me a breakdown of the process that this should take, and the order is that we need to get Board of Selectmen approval, then Board of Finance approval, and then RTM approval to get through all of those various meetings, because the RTM doesn't meet and they have to meet after the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance have approved. We're not looking at
do
even,
it on our own.
Oh yeah, this is, wow, that's
we're
the
not even
process.
looking about getting approval until, at best, the fall. And then we would have to start asking for donations. And then we need to post a landscaper bid to the town website, which needs to be done for 2 weeks. I've created a 8-page, 10-page document using what they sent me to provide that information, and then that would get posted. We would hopefully receive some landscaper bids. I was informed that we go with the lowest one. It's not it's you just go with whichever is the lowest landscaper bid. And then once you receive that bid and the responses and select that vendor, you can then proceed and install the gardens once the donations have been received. So the process, it makes sense, it's just not what we
We were thinking we're doing it
We're
all on
thinking
our
that-
own. and here we
Yeah,
are.
wow, that's
It just
wow.
changes
But it
the
makes
scope.
sense.
It makes sense entirely, so I'm not questioning it. This, even though it's not town money we're spending, like we would be receiving donations, this is still, it goes into the town, I guess. So I'm not complaining, I'm just saying this is so much bigger than what we envisioned and discussed. And
Is
it
it
does have me,
Would it be tax deductible for the donors?
it is, yes.
All right.
I have a question, what
Yes.
about the architectural review board?
So that's a whole other,
Because you have to present to them
and
2 weeks before their meetings, and they only meet, anyhow, I didn't
Yeah.
interrupt you, but I think they're in that they're involved in that process
they're in
as
that
well.
process. I think that when I spoke to them, they had said, we are not gonna not approve, and we'd just like to know what you're planning to do. We'd like to have a voice. So that is, of course, important, but I feel like that's so much further down the line as far as all these things. I guess it sort of has me questioning, like, have we maybe bitten off too much? Is this what we still want to do?
Are we back to weeding the gardens ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, how do we, I guess I mean, maybe you're catching me in a weak moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, but like, I just feel like we might need to consider what our direction is gonna be, and at a minimum, nothing is happening before the fall, and really, honestly, it's really not happening in the fall, it's happening next spring. So we have another 12 months of these gardens maybe looking like this, with our existing, getting back to the discussion of allocation of the rest of this year's budget and even planning into next year's budget. We should discuss how we want to spend that. Because when it comes to, now that I know this process, I mean, I think that also impacts, like whether we can't probably hire the mason to do the garden in town either. Probably couldn't spend the money that way, we'd probably have to go to a bid as well. So I think we should just discuss direction and what we're thinking as far as that. Because I mean, we can still continue and work on the campaign and work on all this and keep it as an ongoing project, but it means that our gardens are gonna look not great for the next year.
I think on the bright side, that's okay, because everything's not looking great in town. you
Okay.
know? So no one's gonna, like, if we redid the garden, if by chance, if we didn't have to go through this protocol, and it was
Yeah.
already, like, we're ready to go, beautiful garden, it's not, everything's still, so I don't think it's gonna, to launch it, spring of next year.
Okay.
I
You think
think
that's
it's
okay? Yeah, because
fine.
your point is because Corbin
And
District
then we
is
just
leaving.
maintain, like, see if we can just get them looking just passable for the summer.
Okay, great. All right. What do you guys think? Getting them to passable?
Well, I know Elder's willing to, he's willing to do more regular cleanup for us if we want to hire Elder to do that, so.
And we
No
have the money to
choice.
do that in
And
our,
we,
in our
and we
budget,
now
right?
have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we now have the money to do that.
Yeah, so,
So to me, it seems that that's what we should do if everybody agrees. And we have 17 locations, or actually 16 if you don't include.
one thing I didn't take out of this $12,000 balance, we'll probably have about a $3,000 water rate bill for May and June. So,
Mhm.
so we have about almost $10,000.
What if, could we just start with maybe one garden, like with this whole process? Like I know David Genovese wants to sponsor that garden at the end of exit 11. I mean, could we, and I know it's a lot of work to go through all these meetings, but if we just started with one, then maybe we could be a little more familiar with the process. It's
Mhm.
just a thought, I don't know.
Put them in a list, line by, you know, we're gonna do garden 1, garden 2.
Garden one.
Put the most
garden
important and the least
two. I
important.
don't know, I just, feel there's so much traffic coming off of exit 11 and it just, I don't know, just a thought.
So I had the same idea, and actually that's what we had ELM do, was give us a rendering, because we were thinking we'd do one garden. And his thought was exit 13, which I wasn't as crazy about, because I feel like it doesn't get as much
Mhm.
eye traffic.
Mhm.
It gets visible traffic, but not, it doesn't represent
Right.
what we think is Darien, which is like the downtown part. So then we suggested Corbin District Garden because David seems interested and ready to move. But Alicia actually went over there and walked that garden space. And there's so much construction happening across the road. And that space has so many signs and supporting wires. She sent me an email, it was like 13 various poles and all sorts of things happening. And they're gonna dig because they might put in irrigation, and they're gonna dig because he's actually burying the wires. And
Oh, so
the
that's
concern
not
is
the
that
right
it's
spot.
actually,
Yeah.
if we do it,
It's
gonna
not
get
right.
trashed
it
again.
might get trashed.
Yeah.
So
That's
even
all.
though that one makes sense, it doesn't really make sense to start now. So
That's
that's the
right, you're right.
concern. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, then I thought, well, maybe we just pick a manageable garden, the one at the bottom of Hollow Tree and Post Road, or in front of Tokenique, or in front of Henley. But it doesn't change the fact we need to go through this whole process before we're allowed to do anything.
Mhm.
Unless we spend our own budget. So we could decide to do that, like take a bigger budget and put it into one garden. But I don't know if that's the way to go either.
I think I'd like to see more bang for our buck and just see the gardens just cleaned up for now
Right.
and mulched.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I would even add to that, I agree, cleaned up,
Yeah.
mulched, and I would like to, whether we price it out or discuss, seasonal color, like annuals, like something that's pretty, like it's just, like maybe we have impatiens put in, or whatever you guys like as far as just pretty seasonal color. I mean, I guess we have a problem with watering it.
We can't do that in all 17 gardens, so that'll cost a fortune.
Do we pick five top ones that,
Most driven
Well, I
by.
mean, there is stuff in some of these gardens. It may not be pristine and it may not be what we want, but I think if we prune back some of the stuff and we mulch it, we could possibly maybe throw in a few things.
Mhm.
Or
Without-
perennials at least.
Yeah, without breaking the
what do you
bank.
call them?
Things that come back
Perennials,
year after year.
yeah.
Mhm.
Which perennials do you think would be good?
Well, salvia is lovely. It's just, it's kind of ever blooming, and it's just all kind of one height,
Right.
and it's just, it's sun tolerant and shade tolerant, and you know,
Okay.
because you have to think about, like, if you put impatiens in, but it's a sun garden, and
Okay.
they'll burn out. If you put petunias in and it's a shade garden, they'll die. So it's like, there's
So-
so many different things with these kind of like seasonal
Mm-hmm.
plants that has to be considered per garden, you know, like the one by the fire station, that gets a lot of shade, so we would only want to plant impatiens there. That, it just is the whole issue.
So,
Salvia deer resistant?
Salvia is deer resistant.
I think it is.
Let me, I'm
I have it in one.
gonna Google,
know
but I'm
it's-
almost positive it's deer resistant.
I think
tolerant, so
last
I feel like
summer it
that's
did
kind of a
so
good thing,
well,
right?
and it seemed to be everywhere, so I think it does really well.
And I
Which
think
makes me think the deer aren't eating it.
Yeah, deer and rabbit
I have it in
resistant.
really bad areas of my property, and it's
And it's pretty drought tolerant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty drought tolerant too.
It's deer
And it's
and,
pretty.
deer
pretty,
and
yeah.
national collet resistant,
I like the idea of salvia.
not mice.
So this idea came
Rabbit.
up a year ago. It was the idea of us babysitting or adopting, each of us kind of overseeing garden, because 17 seems overwhelming, but if there are 6 or 7 of us willing to kind of, I'll call it babysit, I don't want to call it adopt, but just take on a couple gardens that we keep an eye on. What do you guys think about that? Because then it's like, if you know you have 3 or 2 or 4 gardens that you're just in touch with, you could be like, oh, that one needs a weed, or that one needs mulch, or that one's, salvia's dying.
But who does the work then?
Maybe we tell Elder, but we can at least communicate. Because I feel like it's
You know,
just
willing,
kind of
I'm
covers.
even willing to, you know, I'm like the weeding queen, so.
I'll go with you. I don't mind.
I mean, Elizabeth and Colleen and I just,
I find it very
we,
therapeutic.
yeah.
That's good.
Maybe we could even include beverages in that.
Ah,
Late afternoon or something. We do a happy
I'm
hour
wondering
meeting.
if what we could do with some of that budget is actually pay a company rather than you and I to put in big boxwoods in these planters so that we don't have to wait for them to grow and just like big ones, like almost the size of the planter, so that all we're responsible for are the borders. Because
Well, I gotta tell you, those Ilex were so root bound in there.
oh well, no, that's what I'm saying to you. That's why I was like, I can never pull those out. I couldn't believe that you could pull them out. I'm just thinking that if we pay Elder to go to wholesale and buy us big, like I'm talking big box, like big boxwoods or holly or whatever it is, that will make a huge difference in those. Just even if they stood alone, I mean, because those can be beautiful. I mean, then you and I, Tracy, can underline them with $20 of pansies or $20 of petunias a pop, and just in the long run, it's going to save us money just on those, and those are those can be showstoppers. Because right now, even so, we're gonna, no matter what, it's gonna take a lot of filling to do, or we're gonna have to wait years for those little boxwoods to grow. So I mean, what could that cost us? Like $2,500 to ask him to do that? I feel like it would be a good use of our money.
My only concern is that, not concern, but ELM was willing to do those planters for free if we hire them.
But not until next year.
I was hoping it was
But only the
now.
front 2 planters.
Only
I'm
the
talking
front
about
2.
the other 5.
Okay, so all 5, yeah.
No, we don't need to put boxwoods in the front 2. Let ELM do those in the future. I mean,
Okay.
Tracy and I can handle those now. But I'm saying, like, if we put big boxwoods, and we also should replace a planter because there's a missing planter. It got hit by a snowplow.
I did replace a planter.
You replaced a full planter?
Yeah.
There's another missing one. They're not spaced evenly.
Well, no, they're not spaced evenly, and I'm not sure why that was. I think they did it so they had one on either side of those disgusting benches. And then,
Oh, I see. So they're actually, oh, I see.
yeah.
Well,
and
then maybe we
there's-
should ask them to move it, so it's just visually more appealing, because it looks like we're missing a planter. But, so maybe what we do is we just let ELM take care of that in a year whenever we hire them, but we
And we do
put,
have that other planter that's buried in the,
or we
junipers.
ask Elder, I mean, these things are, I mean, I don't even know how you got those Ilex out. I tried myself and I was like, oh, forget about it. So if we ask Elder, who's got manpower to do that for us, that could be a good use of some of those funds.
Yeah, I don't think we need to even spend $2,500 though.
I was just
Yeah,
throwing out
yeah.
like whatever he's gonna charge us. I mean, he's gonna go to wholesale and buy those for $50-$60. I don't know what he'll charge us for.
Okay, so I've got this down as one idea for the budget. Another, I feel like we should gather these ideas, and because we have to make some decisions about what direction we're gonna go. So we've got planters, we've got cleanup of all the gardens. Do we have any sense of what that will cost?
Well, I think, if we really if we mulch the daylights out of these gardens, it
Yeah.
would definitely help with the ongoing
The
maintenance.
leaves, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know,
I feel like we've
and
got
not like,
the budget
an
for
inch,
that.
I mean, and get,
So Jackie and I had gone, this was probably a year ago with Nielsen's, and we had gone to each garden,
Mhm.
and she has some really great suggestions.
Yeah.
So I think, maybe if we could possibly incorporate some of this into our budget, but by CVS, I have
Yeah.
notes here from CVS over right across the street from the Darien train station,
Yeah,
to remove the stinging nettle, trim back like the lilac tree, leave some of the grasses but trim them down, remove the Scotch broom. I mean, these are things that could be overgrown. I think it's something that we should probably go back and look at, but the stinging nettle, there was a lot of it.
Okay.
And this was a year ago, and I think it's still there.
and Jackie put together all these great pictures when it was summertime, so we can see what it will
Right.
look like pretty soon.
Right, so I, and then there are certain places where, dig up grasses and possibly put them elsewhere, and I know that that's a big job, right? Like, that is a
Grasses
lot
have
of work
deep
to dig
roots.
up the grasses, it's a lot of work. But, dividing the hosta, some of the hostas, I mean, we could, it's just a thought, just saying, we could potentially spend money on doing some of that and replanting things
Mhm.
in some of our other gardens that where things could be removed. But we can think about it. I'm just saying,
No, I think it's a great suggestion. All right, so do I hear, there is interest, it sounds like, in us spending some of our remaining budget on elder cleaning up our gardens.
I think you kind of have to,
And mulching.
otherwise,
So should we take a vote right now to have Elder do it? And should we put a number on it, or do we just tell him to just go and then we discuss next month what's left? Let's see, we're at
We'll
May
start,
already,
yeah.
so June, and whatever's left, and then we can put that into planters?
we could do that.
Should we do that?
I think you just go.
Okay.
Yeah, we have no
So-
choice.
so
We need to
let's-
mulch it.
Okay, so then what we need to discuss is what's gonna be the directive to Elder? It's gonna be, please weed, mulch, do as much trimming and cut. I mean, I feel like there needs to be more direction than much trimming and cutting is necessary. Do we give him this?
Start
Do
with
we
the
say plant something?
gardens that are closest to town and kind of work your way out. The most visible ones to the least visible.
Okay, so
Yeah.
should we give him a list? I mean, because we probably gotta spell it out. I mean, just so it's
Yeah.
easier for him.
Yeah. So,
Can somebody handle that? Do you wanna do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I'm happy to talk with Elder,
I
Okay,
have a relationship.
so,
okay, okay,
because I'll see him in no time anyway, so.
okay, great.
The other thing I wanted to be able to get approval to spend a little money on, lamium is such a pretty ground cover,
Oh, it's so
the variegated lamium, and we have some over by the Birchers, and I was talking to Sean yesterday, and he can order, I asked him if he had any in stock, because that's where he got it last year, and he said he did, he was getting in gallons. I said, I don't need gallons. I said, I'd like to, know, because it does spread pretty quickly, and makes a pretty little flower, but it's got some interest because it's a pretty leaf, and it's variegated, and it makes a little flower, and it'll bloom in the spring, it'll bloom off and on during the summer months as well, and it's deer resistant. So,
And
and it's drought
where?
resistant, so all of those things work. And I would like to fill in, like where I put those hydrangeas, the little gems, over here by this walkway.
Okay,
I'd like to fill in some of that, and so that's what I was hoping, maybe to get like 2 dozen plants, and it'll be about $10 each.
anybody else? Yeah, everybody else agree with that?
Perfect.
And
Sounds
it's
great.
just eating, it'll make it,
Sounds good
it'll
to me.
give it some interest in
Good
that garden.
suggestion.
Go ahead.
that's great. Okay,
Yeah,
then I'll
sounds
tell
good.
him to order pink and purple ones, and some
Pretty.
white, so we'll have some.
That sounds pretty.
Okay, all right.
What about putting a couple of hostas right along that? Remember we were talking about, I think we talked about it.
We were gonna dig up,
resistant.
yeah, but we were gonna dig up those hostas and divide them over
Divide them.
there. So
There's
they've
already a
been
bunch
here.
over there, so.
And the deer aren't touching them?
No, they're not. For
Well,
some
that's
reason.
great, because like, forget about it in my front yard.
They ate all of mine, they ate
Yeah.
all of mine.
Well,
But
my-
here, they're not eating, I
Well,
don't
that's,
know
maybe
why.
it's the traffic flow or something?
Might be, yeah, because there's a lot of traffic in through
Yeah.
here. A lot of people walk their dogs through here too.
Mm.
So there's always that fine smell of dog poop in that direction.
Right. I want to keep moving along. I just want to give you a quick update on the garden near the fire department and Mechanic Street there. Nothing obviously is happening from a masonry standpoint. We'll just leave that alone for now. But the Scout is moving ahead with his Eagle project
Oh, nice.
and is going to get that started soon, hopefully. So he hasn't started. I don't know exactly when he started, but that's the plan there. When it also comes to Scout projects, the same woman that I had met with regarding that Scout project said, hey, if you have any other projects for us, let me know. So I just texted her the other day photos of those benches out front and just saying if any Scout is interested in sanding and refinishing these benches that are in place in Veteran Circle, let us know. I did spoken to Seasons 2 about it. They can't do it for us because they need to remove benches and those are permanently fixed, so they couldn't do it for us. But I'll ask, we'll find out. It'd be nice to just get those cleaned up.
So disgusting.
Oh, I know, they're gross. In
And
regard,
they're rotted.
I know.
Some of it's actually replacing, not just sanding.
Well, yeah. And so maybe that's a project down the road, which it would be great. I would love to see those benches replaced with something beautiful.
Well, I mean, why? I don't know
Wait,
why.
I mean, do we want to spend money on that? No. Okay, so,
No, but what I would like, I wish we could do a, like the benches down at Pear Tree Point now with family names and things.
Yeah,
Why
that's
can't we do memorial benches and have those
I
replaced
would-
over time?
love to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. It just requires us
Permission.
finding, well, does it? Yeah, probably. But finding the money and asking.
Yeah.
You're right, it probably does require a permission process.
Somebody might donate if they want to do it on the
Yeah,
day.
I feel like you can buy, so in some towns you can buy a bench and, have people contribute and put a plaque on it.
How does Cherry
love
Lawn doing
to
those
use
work
certain
programs?
So I met with her this month
Oh,
to
you
find
did?
out about that.
Yeah, and so did she have to go through all those rigmaroles?
No, and I met with her before all this information, so.
I just don't know how she got around it, because that's a permanent town structure.
Yeah. So it's a learning process. It's a learning process.
Wait, Tracy,
Um,
where are the boxwoods right now? The boxwoods from the planters, did we plant them, or they're in there? If we take those
I put 5
out,
of the 7 in.
because there's at, Goodwives, I haven't looked, I feel like every time I go around there, but a year ago, all those boxwoods are dead there at Goodwives, or dying. I mean, if we did buy the bigger boxwoods and we took those out, if we didn't put them here, we could put them there.
Well,
Do they rent, are they
I
hard
just
to
wonder,
take
maybe
out?
Earl Biddle,
Oh, yeah, Erdstadt Biddle. and-
Erdstadt Biddle.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would just want to fix that well, since that was one of their adopted gardens, and they did.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you ask them, or does anybody have a contact? I don't know.
And I haven't gotten that check yet this year, but.
Just a thought, I was just thinking about it. and-
So another whole series of conversations I had this month was in regard to the flags on lamp posts around town. And it turns out, in the past, 3 private citizens had funded that and taken care of it. And they have stepped up and offered to do it again this year.
Do you know who they are?
Amazing, yes. We have, actually, I don't know the third gentleman's name, but we have David Hawes of Compass and
Dave Campbell.
Dave Campbell of Rings End. And I think the last gentleman's name is Hewlick or something like that. Not Hewlick. Anyway, not Hewlick, sorry. I don't know the last gentleman's name, but it's so wonderful. So Dave Campbell has ordered the flags and they are coordinating that. And then I have asked for an update. I actually don't know what's currently going on. The flags have not yet come in, but they organized it all in the past. So I had talked to Ed Gentile about it. He said, we've never done this before, but hopefully we can get Public Works to put them up. I was hoping when our baskets went in, but maybe not. I don't know. So there's still a little bit of loose ends there, but anyway, that's great news that that's continuing. So we'll have fresh new flags going up.
Do they know when the baskets are going up, the flag people?
They do, and
they-
unfortunately, this size flag that we had before was unavailable until after the baskets go up. So that's a little snafu there, but I
I
don't know.
think it rings in to order through Amazon.
What's that?
I think it rings in to order through Amazon.
No. So that's the update on the flags. We just talked about planters at Town Hall. I wanted to talk about the Green Team Memorial Day Parade. Does anybody want to I'm out of town unfortunately, but does anybody else want to represent beautification?
I
during the
can't,
parade?
they
No?
asked me as well, and
They-
I declined, I can't,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Who
Do
wants
you have
us to
kids?
do
Do you
it?
want to march in the
No,
parade
we're
with it?
traveling that weekend.
You're traveling? Amanda, do you
I don't know, my schedule's all over the place.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tracy?
I am out of town too.
I know,
So I'm working at a
If I'm here, I'm happy to do it, but like, I don't wanna be the only one marching,
I know.
holding
Well,
a sign there. No
And we can
way.
ask Alicia if she wants to march. I'm also the secretary for the Friends of Gorham's Pond, and since I'm not around and couldn't do that, I asked our treasurer, and he's gonna do it with his kids and family. But I think it's fine. I mean, if we don't have anybody, I think they'll find somebody to hold it. I just thought if anybody wants to march with our banner, we could do that, but
It's a nice invitation, it's such a thoughtful.
If I'm
invitation.
here last minute and if I have a household, then I could say to everyone,
I would do
that's
the
it, that's
same,
what
like
we're
if for
doing,
some
but-
reason our plans change, we're traveling with another family, but
yeah.
you never
Alright.
know what's gonna happen. If
It's-
I do have kids who probably would like to hold a sign.
Yeah, it's not a requirement, it's just if anybody wants to do it, great, and if not, I think it's no pressure. So, just floating that out there. Colleen and Tracy, you guys had your meeting with Jeremy Ginsburg, right, or was it with Ed Gentile?
No, it was with
Okay, so you've reported on that, and,
I did email Kevin from Hungwell Signs, because I connected with him again, because he's done so many signs in town. So I did send him an email, and I know that we're far from this process, but I'm just reconnecting with him again, because he did create the sign at exit 11, and I said we wanted to match the font, and even though Signs of Success can do it as well, I'm gonna get a price from him
okay, great,
sometime. I mean, we're
Right.
not quite ready to do it, but,
great.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff in the town too.
yeah, so.
So,
Thank you. Okay, so Kirsten Dunlap, as we all know, has tendered her resignation. She had brought up the idea of, well, that the timing was tough for her. I followed up with her actually to see if moving our meetings to the evenings would change her opinion. And actually, I don't think that will actually work for her, so. But I wanted to ask the commission what you guys feel about the timing of these meetings and whether we want to keep them in the daytime or move them to evenings, and what everybody's opinion is. What do you think?
I like in the morning, just
You like
because
mornings?
it just.
It was one of the reasons I chose to work with you guys,
Okay.
because the evenings I just are too chaotic in my home.
I
Okay.
agree, I like
Okay.
mornings during the.
Great, that's why I want to bring it up. That's
And I like
great.
it's not too early, and it's not, 9:15 is good. If
Okay,
we had to push it up to 10, it's fine if we wanted to, but.
I like it right now,
9:15,
right
I know.
after I drop the kids off at the bus and come over. For
Right.
me, this works perfectly, so
Okay.
I can do this and then go to my
okay,
day.
and it works for you because you can get out of work.
yeah, I mean, I just come down the hall, I sign out, come down the hall, sign back in.
Okay,
Okay.
good, that answers that. That's, I thought, well, it comes up, let's talk about it, and that's great, so.
Can I
For
go back
now?
to Dr. Garden? Did we,
Yeah.
like, I loved all the names, the new names.
Yes.
What is, that
Yes.
was exciting.
Yes,
That was
so what
fun.
do you guys think? So I was messing around and put in Darien and Bloom on some stuff.
It was
and then-
cute.
Because I thought that was kind of cute, and Alicia had this idea, which I thought was really cute, that you could make the L, or even if you wanted an I, like using graphics, like turn it into a flower maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, do you guys like that name, if we want to?
Darien Grows is also good because everything's growing in the town.
Yeah, yeah.
Blooming is only springtime, everything's blooming,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is growing, you know, we think of our
That's a
the
good,
growth,
that's a good point.
you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of fits the stage we're at.
Yeah, yeah. We could always
Um,
make that kind of. I like that.
Or ever blooming. Darien ever blooming.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that we would, as you can see,
Mhm.
like vote on it today, but I think that's now not imminent. Like, we have so many other approvals to get through. But actually, it is nice to have some direction on it. All right, so we have Darien and Bloom, Darien Grows. Anything
I
else?
have to look where that email was of those lists of names. Were those, I mean,
And I mean, we can, I don't even know if we need to, on one hand, it's nice to make a decision and move on with it and own it, but it could also change too.
We gotta have a name, because it's always
Yeah.
gonna be, you know,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to do something with all the gardens.
So we say Darien Gardens logo.
And it can at least just go to the Instagram if we got like a name and a logo.
yeah, it'd be nice to have a
And
logo.
as town is growing,
Yeah,
launching in about a year, you know?
yeah,
Keep Darien beautiful, Darien Gardens of where you live.
It has to be short, simple.
Yeah, because the signs aren't that big.
you're right.
Darien grows.
Okay, so that's what
That's my vote.
your
I mean,
vote.
Darien in bloom is great, but you think that's just spring. But blooming is growing too.
Darien
So,
Grows.
Darien
is
Grows,
kind of
I'm worried about
reminds
it
me of
sounding like a.
marijuana.
Oh, and to me, it makes it sound like a city, like a city's growing, like in size, like it's becoming a Stanford. Like grows, I think of growing in size versus, it could be both.
Just think driving by one of the gardens, seeing a little sign of Darien grows,
Mhm.
or Darien in bloom. What's gonna resonate with
I know,
a passenger?
Well, if the garden
Ask
looks
if I-
good, blooms really
Yeah.
resonates.
yeah, I mean,
If it looks like
Ask like
crap,
five
forget it.
people like that are like just Darien, you know, just, what do you think of these two names? And see what kind of people, you know? Do you live in Darien?
Simon, what do you think?
Do you live in Darien?
No, I live in Norwalk.
Uh-huh.
When you
What do you
prefer
like?
Darien Grows or Darien in Bloom?
I don't know, they both have to do with plants, so they sound pretty good to me.
Well, that's what we're about here.
Yeah.
We don't actually have to be though, just this program,
Oh, yeah.
just the
Okay.
garden
Yeah,
program.
the adopted
but yeah,
garden, yeah.
Yeah, the adopted
Yeah,
garden.
they both sound good to me. Both a lot of, graphic design, things you can do there with
Yeah.
flowers and stuff like
With
that.
both of them.
What about, I mean, well, I guess this isn't anything to do with flowers, but keep Darien beautiful or
It says like trash pickup.
That's Trumpy.
Darien Gardens of where you live. And that's all I've got on my.
I think we just keep it down.
I can't find the email either. It's like my Gmail swallowed it. I don't know what the title was.
I can't find it. I'm looking.
Should we postpone that vote to next month?
Yes.
Let's, like, everybody just have a think on it again and
Ask
talk,
random people.
talk to people, come back with your own sort of, everybody's assignment is to talk to 5 people and give them both names and come back with a vote. Tell me
So-
how many voted for what and how many voted for other.
For
So if all of us do that, Darien and Bloom and Darien Grows. Each one of us come back with our 5 votes from other people. We still make the decision, but we can at least get a sense of what 25, 30 people thought.
It's a great idea.
All right, so let's come back to that. I brought up New Canaan. I'd also like for you guys as homework to study the New Canaan
Beautification website. It's fabulous.
Canaan Beautification
It's really
website
fabulous.
and learn about what they're doing. They are so far ahead of us. Now granted, it's not a town commission. You're working with private donations. They don't have any governmental red tape to get through. It's a totally different thing.
It's
So we
completely
can never
independent.
be the same, but they are doing it so well that we can learn so many great things from them. So I want everybody to spend a little time, 10 minutes, 30 minutes on their website. And because it's inspiring, honestly.
Yes.
And by the way, they call there, you know how we have a weeding and pruning report? They call it the traveling trowels. How cute is that? So cute. It's basically the same idea. And they go with their, they have a group.
We have a name.
You got a name. And I was like, do we copy that?
No, you can't,
I
but we
know,
can
it's
ask
so cute.
ChatGPT and find something
Yes, okay, I love it. So my point is, it's just inspiring, like they have taken this next level. So we can be thankful and learn. So that's that. Okay, and then we talked about Norotan Heights. You guys already talked about the train station garden direction there. So we're good there. The other thing I want to mention is curbs. Alicia reached out to Ed Gentile about the curbs, and he has given us these updates. Old Farm Road and Tokenique requires DOT permit for repairs. The Department of Public Works is submitting the application this week. Middlesex and Manfield was not in the original list, but he will add that and obtain the cost estimate for repair. Nearwater and Post Road is on schedule for repair. Date TBD. That's great. Tokenique and 5 Mile Road requires DOT permit for repairs. Department of Public Works submitting application this week. Norotan train station where the pollinator garden curbing is going on, because that looks horrendous. It's so bad there.
Oh, I
It's even
did
got a
that last
cone.
week too.
Yeah, it's even got a cone, it's so bad. On schedule for repair, date TBD. We also have Hollow Tree and Boston Post Road on schedule for repair, date TBD. Old Kings Highway South and Locust Hill on schedule for repair, date TBD. So we don't have any dates, but we do have progress. So we are getting somewhere with the curbs, hopefully. So that's the update on the curbs. And I always hesitate to bring it up, but I do like us thinking about it, like other projects, like whether it's art or trash collection or other things.
I did talk to that artist, David Genovese they recommended.
Sandy Garnett.
Yes.
Yeah. Again?
No, just that one time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm just saying, I did
Yeah.
start that process,
Yeah.
but, you know, I can't even remember where we ended with that. I think it was just that his art on his website wasn't really something that was cohesive, so he was gonna have to design, or
Right.
wouldn't just like be like drag and drop.
Right.
Like we wouldn't buy a piece and put it somewhere.
And I also think now, knowing what we know as far as like installing any piece of art in town would require a huge process, which is fine. I mean, you want the board of
We
selectmen.
did talk about painting under the train
The
overpass.
train tracks. I love that idea.
I think it's so
Say
cute
2
too.
row to put in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if
Or
that
whatever it
requires.
That requires even more because it requires DOT
uh,
permit and approval. Anyway.
It would be a really cute
I know,
idea.
I like the idea. And I always love the idea of benches and planters being sponsored by people and going in and working.
And I would love it if the train station, I mean, this is their time to make that train station area.
Yes.
It'd be
Yeah.
So
So
nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that's the first impact anybody has,
I
even if
know.
they're commuting here to even work,
Right.
you know?
No, you're right.
And
It'd be so
everything,
pretty.
and people are gonna, kids now take the train so much more now either. Like, I've got kids that have never even been to Darien, and they now take the train Greenwich to Darien, like just, and they're like, wow, this is, so it's like an impact.
So can we get planters up there too?
It's DOT. I feel like that might be a little offshoot. Does anybody have interest in being in contact and figuring out this DOT thing? Like,
They're impossible.
right.
It's like trying to go,
Right, because I mean, we have so many ideas, but we have so many places where we'd like to do improvements, but we can't, because we don't, I don't even know. It's like this whole sort of nebulous.
I drive through there a lot, and if I ever see somebody out there working in DOT, I'll just get out of the car and talk to them and say like,
Oh, I love
I do that all the time, because that's the only way you get to the right person who's in charge of this area.
And that's great. What do you tell? Like, you're
I would
just
just
saying.
say, who's in charge of this project? Can I get, an email?
Yeah.
Can I-
Because it's through the state of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed was telling us that in Norotan Station, they're actually going to replant those trees.
He sent me the,
So we'll have our Christmas tree back up there.
yeah, he sent the,
That's nice.
I was included in an email that contained the planting plan, and there's quite a lot happening there.
Yeah.
And it's already starting. We're supposed to start, so that's great.
So that'll help.
Okay, is there any other new business?
I just have a small edit. My
Yeah.
name is misspelled on all of our documents. It just should be an EY.
I may apply as well.
Excellent. Sorry about that, we will get that up.
That's okay.
Yeah. Anything else for anybody? Where do we leave it with ideas for spending our budget? Just circling
I
back
think
to
we
that.
talked about elder cleaning up and then
Elder,
the possibility of putting bigger,
That's right.
but having Kim do it, not Tracy and I, because they need to be, well, I can't lift the huge ones. So I think that we need to have a professional landscaper put the bigger boxwoods in the 5 planters, not the front 2.
Okay. Okay, and that's right. So we left it that Elder, you're gonna talk to Elder, give him direction to mulch, weed, and
Boxwoods.
clean up, cut back. All gardens.
He's got a job.
All gardens, and I would say, like, starting now, right? And, I mean, he doesn't have carte blanche, but we're not gonna give him a number, or should we give him a, like, don't spend more than
Oh, I just like him,
6,000?
I mean, I just like him to really just do the broadband cleanup initially
Okay,
and prune things back and mulch,
okay,
you know, and start with that.
okay,
And I think that would be a good use of our money,
Okay.
so that they don't look totally abandoned.
okay. And then I think also homework for all of us is as we drive around, make note of what gardens are, and then we can communicate like, hey, could you have Elder do this at this? Or we've noticed that, like, you know plants and you know plants, so maybe we could say, hey, Elder, can you plant some salvia at one of them? It doesn't have to be across the board, but it would look really good planted here, and it will give color. And this garden might like some impatiens. It doesn't have to be all of them, but maybe we could do something like that. Does that sound right? All right. And are you okay being, I feel like you have a lot on your plate. Are
That's
you okay
okay.
being the point person for
No,
that?
that's fine, I do well with Elder.
I can tell.
Okay.
You always have, you've always
Yeah.
have. And that's great when you have somebody you work with. Like, I have many
Yeah.
people that I work, and I love it when I can.
Yeah,
But it's,
yeah.
you don't have the ones that you don't like to work with.
You know, and he's familiar with the gardens, so it's not like starting from ground
Uh-huh.
zero with him all the time.
He's
So-
delightful. He's
So our
very
next
good.
meeting is
Really
June
lovely.
5th, right? For June 5th.
May 17th is our
Probably
next
not,
meeting.
'cause that wouldn't be the second Wednesday of the month.
Oh, sorry,
12th.
yeah,
It would be the 12th.
Did you get that?
of June.
Yeah,
Okay.
of June. It's the
That's fine.
12th of June, and it's in room 206 next month, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, room 206?
Yeah. Note the room change. It's room 206.
Great.
And so we're keeping 9:15, so that will be 9:15, room 206, June 12th. Any other business? Hold on.
Wait, I'm sorry, so did we approve the boxwoods or did we not approve the boxwoods?
So
for
the
those
thought
planters?
was, we were going to,
We'll price them out and see if we can get it done.
well, that's fine. Yeah, I thought that we were gonna see how much Elder needed, but if we can fit it
That
in.
just, that just pushes back those planters a whole nother month, because there's
Right.
no point in planting them if he's
Well-
gonna plant them
The baskets are in next week, so we'll have petunias in there,
in the front too,
so.
but not in
Well,
those
and the
other
other,
five.
and the other 5 as well. Yeah,
Well, but then he's gonna rip them out if he's gonna put in the boxwoods.
Let's just get the boxwoods. How much is gonna be a gorgeous
Yeah,
big?
that's, I think they're gonna be like $60, wholesale they're gonna be $50-$60.
yeah.
Fine.
I don't think it's a big deal, but we didn't confirm that that was an approved use of our budget, so I just wanna confirm if those boxwoods are going to be an approved use of our budget.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Do we have a motion to approve?
And I'll move the little
Okay.
ones
Yep,
elsewhere then.
okay.
And I would do
Amanda and
boxwood
Melissa,
over
great.
holly.
Oh, the holly only lended itself nicely for Christmas,
I know, that's, yeah.
because it was taller.
Yeah, I agree, big round boxwoods, but I mean, we almost want them to match the circumference of the planter.
Okay, then that doesn't give us any room for any color
No,
though.
because, no, but underneath it does, you know what I'm saying?
A little smaller than the circumference.
Okay, yes.
We'll have to put more dirt in there to then lift them up a little higher.
Well, that's why I'm saying I think someone professional should do it, because these are big planters, you know, they require.
Okay.
you, ladies.
So, yes, okay, one last thing, I don't know if anybody saw this, I was reading the paper, and the Board of Finance recommended budget came out.
I saw it.
And, yeah, and the Board of Finance approved 39,600 for us. So, that
We'll
was
spend
up.
it.
Yeah, so we do need to keep moving ahead with our, our plans and our ideas and our thoughts. That's why I brought up the projects and keeping on top of things. Yeah, so that's great. So that's,
Beautiful things.
do I have a motion to adjourn? All right, Nana, Melissa, Tracy, thank you very much.